presented by Champion Barbecue Supply, starts now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another year of high school football. This is the Blitz, brought to you by Champions Barbecue Supply. The season got underway last night with a few teams in action, and we have a full slate going tonight. We'll start out at Dick Bivens, where Amarillo High hosted Odessa High. Last year's opener between the two was rained out. All right, Sandy's ready to go and kick off the season. We're going to pick it up on the second play of the game. Jet Lopez with the play fake finds Austin Sluter wide open, and he could walk into the end zone. Amarillo High would take the early lead. Then check this out. The ensuing kickoff. Sandy's are going to boot it deep, but the Broncos forget that you're supposed to catch it, and the Sandy's come up with it. That's an unorthodox onside kick, but possession goes right back. But then on the next play, Lopez is hit as he throws, and that's going to be picked off by Ethan Hauser, giving the Broncos some life. Then a few plays later, Joe Ortega pump fakes, then floats it to the end zone. Kobe Baldonado with a great catch, but they'd missed the PAT. Amarillo High would stay in the lead. Then on the ensuing drive, Lopez, he's going to roll out, then just lofts this one over the defenders to Tate Blackwell, and he's going to outrun everyone back inside, diving into the end zone. Sandy's would go back up by 6. Let's check out the scoreboard. And you can see it's Amarillo High all over Odessa High in this one. So up next, we head back to last night with Tascosa and Palo Duro. All right, both teams ready to roll in this one. We're going to pick it up on the opening drive for the Rebels. Reese Cade going to take the pitch here. Then he's going to find the edge, and he'll pick up the first down. A few plays later now, and Gabe, he's going to get the call again, and he's going to rumble ahead for another first down. Then a little later in the drive now, the Rebels are threatening. Colton Fulton going to power up behind his line with the quarterback sneak, keeps those legs churning, and he's in for the first tutty of the season. A little later in the first now, Dons looking to get it going. Deuce Reese under pressure, but gets it away. And somehow Kyron Brown going to pull that one down. That would set Palo Duro up with the first down. Later in the drive, we're now in the second quarter, and Reese looking to pass again. Going to scramble out, can't find anything, and he is dangerous when he does that. He's going to scramble ahead for a big first down. But that drive would stall. Tascosa would lead this by 10 at the half. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard. And that would be all the scoring as Tascosa wins a 10-0 defensive battle. Now to another game from last night. This is Perryton and Canyon opening the season at Happy State Bank Stadium. On Canyon's second play, Brock's Hacker explodes up the middle, and he's going to take this one all the way to the end zone, giving Canyon the early lead. Then on the next Eagles possession, Austin Turner going to rip off a big one, and that one right up the middle as well. He's going to get this one all the way down to the 48 for another big run. Now Canyon's going for it on fourth down on that same drive, and Frank Estrada, look at him, works his way back inside the defenders, and he's going to pull him down for the stop. Now we're back in the second. Canyon's up 15. Levi Turner, this was a theme for the night, up the middle, making a man miss and ripping off another huge run. This one gets all the way down to the 29. A few plays later, Flores, he's going to punch that one in from across the goal line. Canyon would go up 3 scores. Now late in the second, Cooper Schilling looking to make a play, fires this deep. Rudy Sattler there to make the pick. Eagles defense played tough all night. Let's check out the scoreboard. And you can see Canyon got the big win in that one. And then Hereford also on Thursday night with another big win. Let's head back to Happy State Bank where West Plains hosted Seminole. All right, the Wolves fired up for this one. We're going to pick it up on the opening drive for West Plains. Reed Macon starts fast, fires a dart to Lawson Betancourt. Scoots down to inside the 30. A few plays later, Macon, he's going to go underneath to Slade Russell. And look at that, patiently behind his blockers, and that'll spring him for the score. Next West Plains possession now. Macon, with a lot of time back there with that old line, going to buy some more. Then he goes deep to a wide open Kane White Tinsley. That's another first down. A few plays later, Macon going to fire this one up to the end zone, and it's White Tinsley going to pull it in for the score. What a great catch. The Wolves would go up 14. Rolling now into the second quarter. Macon, he's going to roll out, finds Gavin Salazar out of the backfield, and he'll move ahead for a short gain. Then a few plays later, Macon was at it again. Going to buy some more time. Then he's going to fire this one up to the back of the end zone. Once again, it's to White Tinsley. Another score for West Plains, and let's check out this scoreboard. You can see it's West Plains getting the win over Seminole, and Randall with the big win over Plainview. Well, that wraps up the first quarter of play, but still a whole lot more to come. We'll come back. We'll head to Spearman for our game of the week. Don't want to go anywhere. You're watching The Blitz. Welcome back to the second quarter of the Blitz, and it's time for our first game of the week, brought to you by Aqua One. Nothing like a rivalry game to kick off the season, and tonight in Spearman, it was the Battle of Hansford County. Gruver taking on Spearman, both towns just separated by 13 miles.
Game of the week, presented by Aqua One.
And check this out, the Palo helicopter hovering over the field at Spearman, it would land and deliver the game ball. Pretty cool there. First play of the game on offense for Spearman, Jalen Vasquez with the keeper. He'll go right up the middle of that Gruver defense, very tough to bring down, and he'll rumble ahead, keeps churning, but that drive would end up stalling. Now after a Spearman punt, Briggs Satterfield gonna air one out to Mason Langford. He's gonna make the catch and tackle just inside the 5. So Gruver will get on the scoreboard when Satterfield finds Nick Shepard open in the corner of the end zone. Gruver would go up 6-0. Later in the first, Satterfield is going to keep her around the left side and right into the end zone untouched. That's going to make it 13-0 after the PAT. They're knocking on the door again. Satterfield going to find Brock Butler in the back of the end zone, and it was 19-0 Gruver in the blink of an eye. Now they're going for 2. Satterfield going to scramble around here. Then he's going to find Pate Babs in the end zone for the 2-point try, and it's 21-0 late in the first quarter. Let's go ahead and check on the score. And Spearman would try to come back at this one, but it ends up being 42-21 Gruver. So now we'll head back to Link Stadium where Drew Powell is standing by with Gruver head coach Kurt Habather.
Well, greetings, everyone. It was a wild Friday night up here in Hansford County. I'm Drew Powell. Joining me now is the winning coach, Kurt Habather. Coach, comment on the victory. You got to give credit due to your opponents. You jumped out to a big lead, but then they came right back.
Yeah, they played really hard. They put us in a bind on some of their stuff, and a little quarterback that had in was a water bug for us, and it took us a little bit to get that under control.
What were the keys to getting the win tonight?
Being able to hit big plays. When we finally were able to run the ball in the second half, you know, mashing it down there, that was big.
And up next, you have Texoma, and you're at home next week.
Yes, sir. We're Texoma at home opener.
All righty. Well, congratulations on the big victory. Way to start out the first game of the season, and best of luck next Friday and for the remainder of the season. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great night of high school football action here. It was a free gate for the fans, for the home team to come out and enjoy the Battle of Hansford as Gruver prevails. Reporting from Hansford County at Spearman High School, I'm Drew Powell. Now back to you.
All right, now out to Pampa, who was taking on Iowa Park. Pampa just scored when we got there. Here in the second, they're up by 8. On the kickoff, Andres Zambrano. He plays for Iowa Park. That's a nice little move there. And that's going to spring him down the sideline. And he is going to go all the way. 80 yards, but the XP would be no good, so it's 8-6 at this point. Pampa's next series, Max Neff. It's a name we know well. Look at that, running through tacklers, making cuts, lowering his shoulder, looking for contact. That's a big first down. Later in the drive, once again, it's Neff. And he's going to cut it back the other way. Oh, just bouncing off guys. Oh, unbelievable. Hope some college coaches are out there watching Max because he's a great running back. So now they're on the 4. And Neff coming right at us on this one, lowering his shoulder again and in for the score. That would make it 14-8. 1 second left in the half. Iowa Park knocking on the door. But then Justin Chavez there with a great play to keep the Hawks out of the end zone. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard in this one. And you can see, Iowa Park just edges Pampa by 1. All right, now let's head out to Bushland, where they were hosting Borger. We're going to pick it up on the opening drive for the Falcons. Colton Strickland with the quick hitter to Jenner King, and he's in for the score. Bushland would take the early lead. Then on the next Bushland possession, they're doing it again. Colton Foote this time taking the handoff right up the middle. They make it 14-0 Falcons, and they would keep the pressure on. Foote, he's going to get the call again, guiding his blockers there, and that's a big first down. A few plays later, Cannon Avon now in at quarterback, and he's got an arm. He's going to fire that one deep for King. And that's another score. Falcons go up by 21. That's still in the first quarter. Now we're in the second. More Falcons firepower here. And they're going to run this one right up the middle, power their way across the goal line. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard. As you can see, it was all Bushland tonight at home. Another games, couple more games here. We have Levelland, or Dalhart taking down Levelland. Well, that wraps up the second quarter, but we still have a lot more to come, including our play of the week. And then we'll check in on the scores of New Mexico and Oklahoma. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Blitz. Welcome back to the third quarter here on the Blitz, and we still have a lot of games to get through, including heading across the border, but we're going to start down in Fritch, where they hosted River Road. And the patriotic Eagles running onto the field. We're going to pick this one up scoreless in the first. Bristol Dickerson, check out this designed run here. It's a nice one. He's going to break out a one tackle there. He's going to get this one down just outside the 10. Then the next play, Ethan Beltran. He's going to float this one up to Drayton Renville, and he'll pull that in for the score as the Eagles would take the lead. Then on the next Sanford Fretch possession, another nice run play here. Dickerson going to rumble this one all the way down inside the 20. A lot of creative plays there. Here's another one. Check this out. This one is a variation of the Statue of Liberty. And look at that. Springs him wide open. That's Rocky Ferguson. He dives into the end zone for the score. Let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard in this one. And that one was Fritch winning 34-14. Got some more scores here as Canadian all over Elk City. Greenwood takes down Childress. We have Friona falling to Slayton. Toya all over Floydada. Dimmitt with the shutout over Memphis. Wheeler shutting out Highland Park. Panhandle, oh my word, all over Clarendon in that one. West Texas High takes down Lockney. Then we have Sunray falling to Hooker, and Stratford taking down Abernathy. We have a few more scores to get to here as New Deal and Farwell. That one was delayed by rain. They're still playing 7-7 at the half. Vega with the big win over Crosbyton. And then we have Wellington all over Alpine. Now for some more six-man action, we're going to head to White Deer, who battled Groom. And here they come. There are the Bucks and the Tigers. We're going to pick it up on the first series for the Bucks. Caden Miner with a big run here. That was 14 yards and in for the score, 6-0 after the extra point was blocked. So first series for Groom, fourth down, Davis Babcock. He's just going to end up pulling that down and picking up a nice little gain. Nice little move there, too. That may have been a face mask. I couldn't really tell from that angle. But nonetheless, they would turn it over on downs. Next series, we have Logan Matlock going to find Creed Powell. And he's going to take that one to the 7, but then drops the ball. But he'll fall back on top of it. Then on the ensuing play, Foster Black. He's in for the Bucks. They'd get the score, but the extra point would be blocked. It's 12-0 White Deer. Now after Groom would go 4 and out, Bucks block here with the long touchdown run. Stays on his feet. Yeah, and he'll get that one in, but another extra point would be blocked on that one, and that would make it 18-0. Let's go ahead and check out the score, and you can see that one was all White Deer, while Motley County takes down Claude. Then Booker falls to Miami. Got a few more here as Klondike takes down McLean. And then Sanjak with the big win to start the season. Now let's head out of state. And you can see Clovis losing big to Rio Rancho while Clayton up on Mesilla Valley. Then in Oklahoma, we have Woodward over Guyman. That one another late start due to weather. Then Buffalo falls down to Boise City. Texoma leads Merritt. And then Tyrone edges out Turpin. Well, that wraps up the Oklahoma scores.
Play of the week, presented by Glass Doctor.
All right, thanks to Glass Doctor for sponsoring our play of the week. Now we head back to Dick Bivens. This was the second play of the game. Jet Lopez finding Austin Sluter, and he could walk that one into the end zone. Amarillo High would take the early lead, making up for the fact they didn't get to play this game last year. So congrats to Jet Lopez and Austin Sluter for a great play. We'll wrap up the show after this timeout.
Promotional consideration provided by the following. Band of the Week, presented by ACFCU.
Welcome back to the Blitz. You just heard from the Canyon High Soaring Pride Band under the direction of Eric Rath and Luis Hernandez. Every week, Band of the Week is brought to you by ACFCU. Tonight kicks off an exciting weekend of football with college football getting underway as well tomorrow. The big game of the day has the Texas Longhorns traveling up to Columbus to take on the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. Game also a rematch of last year's semifinal matchup. Top 5 teams clashing here on ABC. We'll have our first triple header of the season. Syracuse versus Tennessee, while Alabama will take on Florida State, and then the nightcap of LSU and Clemson. Texas Tech also at home against Arkansas and Pine Bluff. Then we have a lot of volleyball this weekend as well as Randall hosts the Raiders Showcase. A lot of local teams playing in that one. Well, that wraps up the first Blitz of the season. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.